Good morning. On Sunday mornings, I have been talking on this text, Opening the Hand of Thought. This book was written by my teacher, Okumura Roshi, and I'm one of the translators. I talk very slowly, almost paragraph by paragraph each time. Now today I'd like to talk 3 paragraphs. Maybe it's too ambitious. From the second paragraph of page 95, if we want to take a look at this text later. In this section of this book, Okumura Roshi talks about the meaning of this Zazen practice in terms of a modern civilization. And he said, we have a problem in modern civilization that is basically a scientific and technological civilization. And he said, science and technology and also economies based on science and technology develop too fast, too quick. And it's like a wild horse running without direction. And we human beings has no control. So it's really run quickly, but we don't know where we are going, and we cannot control it. And within this civilization, modern civilization, another side, we need a peace of mind. When we ride on this wild horse, it's really difficult to find a peace of mind. We are almost always too busy. We need to work too hard. We need to do so many things. And because of this nature of modern civilization and society, we are goal-oriented. We want to achieve something we want. And the goal is often, or almost always, something most of people want to reach. So we need to compete with others to be successful. So, and another thing is, what Okumura Roshi said is, this progress is based on dissatisfaction. We are not satisfied. We cannot be satisfied in the condition we are. That's why we want to make it better and make change. And the problem of our desire to be satisfied is, even when we achieve something, we reach a certain goal. At that point, we have more desire to achieve better. So in this kind of walking, there's no goal actually, no end. We are always like in Buddhist word, hungry ghost. We have so much desire, but even when we eat, our desire is not satisfied. So we are always hungry and want to get more and more. And to do so, we need to compete with others. So it's really difficult to find a peace of mind. So what Okumura Roshi wants to say in this section is, how can we find a middle way between progress and peace of mind. He said, progress is important. The opposition of progress is stagnation. And stagnation doesn't make sense. It's not necessarily better than progress. So how can we make progress without losing peace of mind? Or how can we maintain peace of mind while we are working to make progress? That is the point of Okumura Roshi's discussion in this part of this book. And after he discussed about the problem of the modern civilization, he introduced Buddhist basis of Buddhist teaching, Buddha's teaching. That is the self settle within the self. And he quotes some old Buddhist scriptures that Buddha taught. And one of the Buddha's saying is, the foundation of the self is only the self. So we need to settle within the self. That means we don't chasing after things outside. We need to find a peace of mind within the self. And it looks like, opposite from chasing after we want. Then we feel, we expect, we become happy if we get that thing. But what Buddha said is, find a peace of mind within ourselves, not seek anything outside. But Okumura Roshi also point out the kind of a dangerous point of this teaching. If we are not careful, that means we become stagnant and try not to do anything. Just be quiet and peaceful. And Okumura said, the way we work in the modern civilization is like a crazy. We only, run after something to attain the goal. But when we don't seek anything outside, just be, peaceful within the self, then we stagnate there, and we become, in Okumura Roshi's expression, foolish. So the negative side of scientific and technological civilization is becoming crazy. And if we are not careful, our life based on Buddha's teaching makes us foolish or stagnate. We don't care about progress, and we become kind of lazy. So, but Okumura Roshi said that is not what Buddha really teach. So in Buddhist practice, we need both. That means, for example, in one of the older Buddhist sutras, and that is called Butsuyui Kyōgyo. That is in the teaching Buddha gave right before his death. He pointed out 8 things as an important practice. And the first 2 is having a few desires. And the second is knowing satisfaction, or knowing what is enough. So with few desire and knowing satisfaction. So this is opposition of having desire and dissatisfaction. Therefore, we work hard to get something we want. But another point in Buddha's teaching is with few desires and knowing satisfaction, we need diligence. If we have few desires and if we know satisfaction, then what is the motivation of diligence? To me, this is a really interesting point. What makes us diligent if we don't have desire and if we are satisfied? This is kind of a mysterious teaching. How can we find such a energy or motivation to work diligently? And I think that is what Okumura Roshi is saying in these 3 paragraphs. So let me read what Okumura Roshi wrote. In order that our discussion not remain abstract, let us turn back to the concrete everyday world. For instance, why do we work? We could say we work in order to eat or to better our standard of living or to become famous. However, all of these responses originate out of our own personal thoughts and desires, and not from the life force itself. The lily, next paragraph, the lily blooming in the field. Why does it bloom? It does not bloom for any particular purpose. It blooms solely because it has been given life. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. This is a quote from Bible. Matthew, in this book it said 7, but actually this is 6. I checked yesterday. 6:28 to 29. Here, the glory of life simply appears. In the same way, the violet blooms as a violet, and the rose expresses its life as a rose. The flowers blooming in the field do not feel with pride that they should win first prize in a beauty contest. They do not feel that they are in competition with other flowers. The violet does not develop an inferiority complex, thinking the roses are big and beautiful, but a little violet like myself is useless. It doesn't say with greed and impatience, I've got to become more efficient. It simply manifests its own life force with all its might. And the next paragraph. Of course, if a violet plant cannot produce even a small violet, it is unable to make seeds and continue its line. Nevertheless, when it blooms, it does so for no personal purpose. just bringing forth flowers is its life. There is a passage in the Lotus Sutra that reads, all things are the truth in themselves. In Zen, a similar expression is, a willow is green, a flower is red. In short, Buddhism as a religious teaching means manifesting the world of life in which a violet blooms as a violet and a rose as a rose. So in the first paragraph I read today, he said, our usual common motivation to work. We think we work, which I'm going to say, to eat means to make money in Japanese. So we work to make money, to bring food to keep us alive, and we want to make our livelihood better or more rich, and we want to be successful in the society. That is, I think, most of us have as a motivation to work. Without these desires or reasons or motivations, we don't work so hard. But Okumura Roshi said, such motivations, he said, however, all of these responses originate out of our own personal thoughts and desires, and not from the life force itself. So now he kind of make a distinction between desire and thoughts and life force. When he used this expression, desire or thought, desire based on our thought, he did point out, our thinking mind, and that is in Buddhist context, that is karmic consciousness. Karmic consciousness means conditioned thought. That means in Buddhism, sense organs, the 5 sense organs, encounter with object of the sense organs. Sense organs are like eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body and mind. 6 sense organs and 6 objects. That means colors, sound, smells, taste, touch, and object of mind. When we encounter with those objects, something happened in our mind. And when certain object give us a pleasant sensation, then we like this. And when another thing give us unpleasant sensation, we don't like this. Or sometimes, or often, we become angry and we have hate. So toward the object we want or we think desirable, we have greed and make those things my own personal possessions. And toward the things we don't like or we think not desirable or meaningful, we want to escape from them. These are actually greed and hatred, or anger or hatred. And this greed and anger or hatred are two of the three poisonous mind that makes our life a samsara and suffering. So our usual motivation based on this structure, and our life become samsara, means we want to be heavenly beings. That means the condition, our desires are all fulfilled and we can have satisfied. And other, 6 realms, I think you know, the lowest or most painful condition is hell, and hungry ghost, animals, ashura or fighting spirit, and human and heavenly beings. We transmigrate because of this chasing after things and escaping from things. Our life becomes always running after something or escaping from something. That's why we cannot find a peace of mind. Even we are like a heavenly beings, that condition doesn't last forever. So sooner or later we need to go down to other conditions. And when he used this expression, life force, this is not personal. This is personal conditions, consciousness. And we seek, satisfy our desire. But life force, in terms of life force, this is not personal, according to Okumura Roshi. We and other people, not only people but other forms of life, are living together, living the same life force. So this person as individual and other people and other things, even the not sentient beings, are part of this life. And Okumura Roshi calls this a universal life. We are living together with all beings within this network of interdependent origination. But at the same time, we are living a personal, individual life. So within our karmic consciousness, we always have the thought and desire how can make this person better or happy or more satisfied. And this is the driving force of making change, progress. And this is a source of peace of mind. We live it together with all beings in terms of Buddhist teaching. But in this paragraph, what Okumura Roshi is saying is usually or commonly our motivation to work is our personal, individual desire based on our thinking and discrimination. Then in the next paragraph, he talks about the flowers, and he quotes sayings of Jesus Christ from the Bible. This is a part of very famous sermon on the mountains. And yesterday I checked the Bible. To me, this is interesting. Okumura Roshi studied Western philosophy and even Catholic theology, so he had a deep understanding of Christian teachings. But I have no such background, so I'm not sure what I'm talking or what my understanding is correct or not. But to me, this particular part of Jesus' saying is very interesting. So let me talk or read the entire thing, what he talks when he is in Okumura Roshi's quote. He he's talking about the release in the field. This is a part of Jesus' sermon about the motivation of our life, or the reason for living or working. And this starts Matthew 24th. So I go back a little bit from 28th. This is in this part. Jesus is talking. In the first, he says, no one can serve two masters. No one can serve two masters. For a slave will either hate the one and love the other, or be devoted to the one and despite the other. And he said, these two masters are, you cannot serve God and wealth. One master is God, another master is wealth. That means we cannot serve both. That means if we seeking wealth, then we are a slave of our personal desire and thought. But in Jesus' saying, it said it is called God. But Okumura Roshi kind of reword. Instead of God, he said life force, to make it Buddhist. And Jesus continued, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life. Jesus said, do not worry about your life. Worry is a basic reason we lose a peace of mind. Because we worry about our life, we cannot have a peace of mind. And because this worrying about life, we start to do something. But Jesus said, don't worry about your life. What you will eat, or what you will drink, or about your body, don't worry about your body. What you will wear clothing. Is not life more than food? Is not life more than food? And the body more than clothing? And not only flowers, first he talk about birds. Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns. So birds doesn't do farming, work in the field. And yet your heavenly Father feed them. So birds continue to live without working so hard. And the necessary food is given from the God. Are you not of more value than they? Than they means than birds. That means human beings are more valuable than birds. I don't agree about this point as a Buddhist. And can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your span of life? Even if we worry about our life, we cannot prolong our life even 1 hour. That's why Jesus said, don't worry about your life. That means we need to entrust our life to the God in this case. And why do you worry about clothing? consider the lilies of the field. This is quote, Okumura Roshi quote. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not clothed like one of these. That means the small flowers like lilies or violet have more better clothing than the Solomon was a great king, and of course he won luxurious garment, but still Jesus is saying violets or lilies, those small plants, has more better clothing. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? Therefore, do not worry, saying, what will we eat? Or what will we drink? Or what will we wear? For it is the Gentiles, 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 who strive for all these things. And indeed, your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But strive first for the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring worries of its own. Today's trouble is enough for today. Well, if we change the God and God's righteousness into Dharma, or the interconnectedness, or Indra's net, then what Jesus is saying here is not so different from what Buddha taught, I think. That means everything we need, probably not entirely everything, but I think somewhere Okumura Roshi wrote more than 99% of our need is given as a gift from the nature, from the this network of interdependent origination, and we receive as a gift free. But Okumura said only 10% of our need we have to make choice if we make effort to get it or not. I think that is true. The most fundamental things to keep us alive, such as air, water, food, sunlight, all those things are gift from the nature. But in our modern civilization, somehow we have a kind of a belief that if we don't work hard, we cannot alive, we cannot survive. I think because of fear, we have some fear. I mean, many of modern people lost this trust or belief in this case, in Christianity, God, or in Buddhism, this interconnectedness. and somehow we need to fight or work to make us alive. And I think this dissatisfaction and fear is the cause of this progress, and that makes us or our civilization crazy one. So when we restore the trust, whatever we call it, God or Buddha or interconnectedness or the nature, if we restore some trust to this gift we receive, even our life itself, our body and mind is a gift from the nature. So I think we need more trust. And we need to be free from this fear and desire. Then we can find or restore more peace of mind. I think that is kind of a meaning of religious teachings. We don't actually, Uchimura doesn't care so much about religions as institutions, but we need peace of mind. How can we live with working hard to make progress without losing the peace of mind? Or that means how can we work to make progress without fear and desire? And both Jesus and Uchimura Roshi pointing out is to awake this life force, or in Jesus' teaching a God that give us almost everything we need as a gift. So that is what he's saying. Let me read what he said in this paragraph. The lily blooming in the field. Why does it bloom? And Uchimura said, lilies bloom not for their own, not based on their own thinking and desire. It does not bloom for any particular purpose. Even those flowers has no purpose. Actually, they have a purpose, but they don't think about the purpose. The purpose is, keep the continue their lives, generation after generation. It blooms slowly because it has been given life, because we receive the life force as a gift. We try to manifest or actualize this life force. Then Uchimura Roshi quote Jesus saying from the Bible, and after that he said, "Here the glory of life. Glory of life much better than the man-made glories man can achieve as a successful person." Here the glory of life simply appears within the beauty of the flowers, such as lilies or violet. In the same way, the violet blooms as a violet, and the rose expresses its life as a rose. Rose and violet are different. Rose are much larger, and from human point of view, it has a kind of a market value. And violets are beautiful, but we don't think we can sell violets. Violet has no value in terms of human evaluation. To me, this is an important point. When I lived in Massachusetts to establish a small zendo, we didn't have any financial support from anywhere. So we had to support our practice by doing odd jobs. And one of the odd jobs we found was picking blueberries in the blueberry field. And the farmer owned, I think, about 30 acres of blueberry field. And for about 3 weeks in the summer, we picked blueberries. Blueberry field is really beautiful, especially in the morning when the blueberries are, wet with dew and illuminated by the sunlight. It's really like a jewels. But picking blueberry was really terrible work. It's a low bush, so we have to always bend our back and pick with scoops. And so our pants are all, smells like a rotten blueberry every day. Anyway, in that field, some part of that field, in the edge, there are another berries, and they called those berries dog berries. Dog berries. I don't know if that is a real name or not, but dog berries are not edible. But the workers in the blueberry field were almost high school students. During the summer vacation, they wanted to make some money and came, but they don't really care. So they don't care to pick whether blueberry or dogberry. So the owner of the farm always shouting to those high school students, "Don't pick all those good-for-nothing berries." That's the first time I heard this expression, "good for nothing." And I like this word, "good for nothing." That's why I started to use this word, expression, "good for nothing," as a circular saying about Zazen. Zazen is good for nothing. But when I heard that expression, "don't pick those good for nothing berries," this is only human evaluation, because blueberries are edible. Blueberry has value, man-made value or market value within human world. But those dogberries are not edible, so there's no market values. But when we see both berries, they are both beautiful. And beside whether they are edible or not for human beings, they are not different. So there's no way, if we put aside our human evaluation, there's no way to make such a distinction or discrimination. Blueberries are better than dogberries. But somehow we make evaluation and make discrimination, and those are good for nothing. Blueberry is very valuable. But as a life force, both dogberries and blueberries are simply manifesting their life force as their way. So there's no such distinction or difference as a value. And violet and rose are the same. Violet are small and beautiful, and rose flowers are also beautiful, and it's big. So somehow, from human point of view, roses are more valuable than the violets. And yet, when we put aside this human evaluation, they are exactly the same. Just they leave, violet express its own life force as a violet flower, as a tiny flowers, and roses express its own life force. That's all. And we human beings are also the same. Some people are more, capable, and other people are not. And yet they express their own life force. We don't need to think, we need to be successful people like those. Otherwise, we are valueless. But in human world, that is how we commonly think. And we have either a superiority complex or inferiority complex without any fundamental, essential reason. We think we are good, or we are better than others, or we feel I'm worthless. That is only within our mind, within our, conditioned or karmic consciousness. And we think, or we believe that is really true. But from the more basic, on the ground of life force, they are exactly the same. There's no such value difference. I think that is the foundation of peace of mind. So we need some effort, and also we need some competition to fully express our life force. But it's only within our human consciousness. We need to really understand that point. I think that is what he's saying here. So the flowers blooming in the field do not feel with pride that they should win first prize in a beauty contest. But in humans world we do. There are so many different contests, and we want to get the prize or reward or award. Otherwise we feel we are good for nothing. They do not feel that they are in competition with other flowers, just simply manifest or actualize their life force. The violet does not develop an inferiority complex, thinking the roses are big and beautiful, but a little violet like myself is useless. It doesn't say with greed and impatience, I've got to become more efficient. Means violet think I have to work hard and bloom larger flowers. We don't think, violet don't think in that way, but we always think in that way. And we evaluate ourselves and other beings, other people, and sometimes we feel, I'm worthless. And I don't know why somehow human beings can commit suicide when we cannot find value or meaning in our life in comparison with others. It simply manifests, it means flowers, its own life force with all its might. So the reason or motivation of those flowers bloom as their own life force is simply expressing their life force. Instead of thinking, I'm not good, I cannot be satisfied, I'm not happy because I lack something. Therefore, if I get that thing or achieve something, then I can be happy. That is almost always our motivation to work hard. Without these motivations, we can be better or we can get something we desire. It's very difficult to find a motivation to do anything. And Okumura said that is our problem, and that is not based on our actual life, but based on our thinking. So we need to be free from our thinking, and also the world, or not the real world, but a picture of the world we produce in our mind based on our thinking. And the driving force of this making a picture is fear and desire. So it simply manifests its own life force with all its might, this might or life force, to awake to this life force and put more weight on this life force instead of desire in our karmic consciousness. I think is the way we can make a kind of a balance between our effort to make progress and also keep or maintain peace of mind. And next paragraph. It's already 11:10. Probably I stop here because in the next paragraph he quotes two other Buddhist texts. So I need to make explanation. So I'll continue from here next time. But next week I'm going to California to give Dharma talks at several Zen centers, and coming back on February 3rd, and after a few days I'm going to Austin, Texas to lead a 7-day Genzoe, and coming back on 15th. Then after that I'm going to Iowa for another weekend. So next my Dharma talk on Sunday is, I think, in last Sunday of February or March. But from next week, next Sunday, I asked 5 people to give a talk. Next Sunday, Ritok or Walter is going to give a talk, and second is going to give a talk, and second and 9th, Michael Hoshi is going to give a talk, and Shotai is going to give a talk on 15th, and Alison is the next one, 23. So you can listen to the Dharma talk in better English, so please come. My next Dharma talk will be probably end of February. Any question or comments? please.
A comment that I studied something called permaculture, which looks at the balance between all things, like and the interconnectedness of things, and to have a way of growing that is in harmony with that balance. And it would look at perhaps the dogberry as an advantage and a necessary part of the blueberry world that provides some sort of value and function also. And it doesn't, but the permaculture principles don't produce as big a quantity of food because you have to have everything in the mix. And it looks at the monoculture, the way of farming that has a great quantity of one thing as being a mistake. And it's a kind of greed. And because then you create all sorts of problems that you have to solve with pesticides and things like that. And it reminds me of what you're saying, to have stay interconnected with everything and don't get greedy.
Yeah, in a sense, in that sense, dogberries are important.
Yes. And
if we, actually they burned all the trees in the forest and planted only blueberries and kill everything else. That is not healthy in our nature, I guess. And I thought that is true. Please.
I was wondering, it seems like there's some connection to what you were saying with a phrase I've read in some Zen texts about neither excess nor lack. And that phrase comes up in some of the Zen texts about, overabundance versus insufficiency. And I think in certain ways, human beings, have that same kind of duality, dichotomy. They think they don't have enough of something, or they have too much of something.
I think that expression came from Dogen's comment on the precept of not giving false speech. I mean, the reality is just as it is. Nothing is excess or lack. It's not, nothing is too much and nothing is lacking. Just as it is perfect. So whatever we say about we need this or that, or we lack this and that, is a false speech. Please.
I have a kind of a comment or a story, and then I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
The teaching reminded me of the old story that I hope too many people haven't heard, but which I always find amusing, about the missionary that is on the South Sea Island, and there's a native there fishing, and the missionary comes up and says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm enjoying the sun and the sea, and I'm fishing in the shade of the palm tree, and life is wonderful." And the missionary says, "Oh, you can't do that. You've got to get up and work. You've got to provide for your family. You've got to have a nice house." And the native says, "Well, after I do all that, what will the end result be?" And the missionary says, "Well, then you'll be able to fish." and so that seemed to catch the spirit of the teaching, I thought. My questions are twofold. One is, I am puzzled to know if there is a difference between ordinary consciousness and cosmic consciousness. You seemed at some points to make a distinction, and other times seem to use them.
Like cosmic, karmic.
Karmic, I meant karmic, I'm sorry. Thank you. Karmic consciousness, sometimes you seem to use them synonymously, and other times they seem to be quite distinct.
One is karmic consciousness, another is usual
Just
consciousness,
ordinary condition,
consciousness.
the conditioned consciousness that you talked about with the subject and object moving back and forth to produce a value system.
I think our usual ordinary consciousness is conditioned, therefore karmic. Even
how does it become karmic?
Karmic
if
means
it's an individual response.
Karmic means product of our past experiences. So our consciousness, our ordinary consciousness is produced by what we experience, and not only our personal experience, but karmic include, for example, I was born in Japan. That is my karma. So I think using Japanese language, that is my karma. So in my ordinary thinking, using ordinary consciousness is karmic.
When you do karmic consciousness in the context of transmigration, how does that influence the fact that in this life at this time you were born Japanese? Is there any carryover between our normal conditioned consciousness and karmic consciousness in a transmigratory sense?
Transmigratory means transmigration is 6 realms. That means in Buddhist theory or teaching, it said we transmigrate life after life. In that sense, you mean rebirth?
Yes.
My past life and present life.
Yes.
And from present life to the future life.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I don't remember my past life. Even I have to say I don't believe that kind of rebirth, even though that is Buddhist teaching. And I think Japanese Buddhists don't really believe it. Of course, no Buddhist negate that rebirth or transmigration because it really a Buddhist teaching from Shakyamuni Buddha. But we don't really believe, that rebirth, life after life. We don't negate it. That's why in Japanese Buddhism, ancestor worship is possible. In Indian idea of rebirth, when I die, my something within me is going to be born with different 5 skandhas. And this continues. And there's 49 days between my death in this 5 skandhas and with next 5 and birth with next 5 skandhas. So after 45 days, this person will be born with another 5 skandhas. That means another person. But in Japanese Buddhism, we enshrined the ancestors in Buddhist temples, and to me this is really contradicted. And in Japanese Buddhism, we have a kind of ceremonies 2-3 times a year that the soul of our ancestors return to this world both spring and autumn equinox, and 1 week in the summer called Obon. This Buddhist practice based on Japanese idea of afterlife. In Japan, Japanese people believe there is a realm of the dead, and that is often in the mountains or beyond the ocean. And after their death, ancestors stay there. And a few times a year they return to this world. And this idea has nothing to do with Indian idea of transmigration or rebirth. But in Japanese Buddhism, we negate neither of them. And no one questions about this contradiction. That means Japanese Buddhists really, believe this Indian idea of transmigration. And both, they accept both. And they don't have any question about this. To me, this is a kind of a strange thing if we think rationally. But so, because I'm one of the Japanese Buddhists, I don't really believe Indian folk belief, and I don't really believe Japanese neither. I'm very kind of a skeptical person, but I don't negate neither because I don't know. There's no way to negate. There's no such thing. And those both folk beliefs, I think were important and necessary in each culture. So that is my answer to about this question. So my answer to your question is I don't know. I'm sorry.
I seem to force you into that a lot, and I'm the one who's sorry, but the questions bother me.
Mm-hmm. Please.
Is Shintoism the ancestor worship, or is that from China? The ancestor
Both Chinese and Japanese has ancestor worship.
Before pre-Buddhist practice.
Yeah. Please.
In Zen, specifically in our tradition, Soto Zen, how do we approach or honor the dead? Do we do the 45 day?
Yeah, we do.
We do that. Is that part of
in Japan,
Zen, or is that the Japanese?
It's a part of Buddhism, Japanese Buddhism. And Japanese Buddhism is combined with Japanese folk belief. So we cannot, make a separation. This is Indian Buddhism. This is Japanese folk belief, and make separation and think whether this is a Buddhism or Japanese religion. They are really, combined. And
And do we celebrate or do we acknowledge the equinox ancestors coming
yes,
back?
all Japanese Buddhism, including Zen, we do. And we have names of recently dead people. We keep their names on that altar for 49 days. So, but actual essential point of Zen teaching is right now, right here. Don't think about past or future.
Is there I've heard people talk about rebirth in terms of this current life. Like you, due to getting angry about stuff, you can be reborn in the hell realms. Is that of utility, or is that something that's an accepted view?
I think it came from another point of Buddhist teachings. According to so-called Yogacara, not Yogacara. including Yogacara, some Buddhist philosophies said it's a part of the teaching of impermanence. It's not simply we are born certain time and continue to live as a fixed person until the time we die. But even within this lifetime, moment by moment, we are born, stay for a while, changing and disappear or dying. Life and death is so moment by moment, not lifetime after lifetime. In that sense, we are born each moment, and we die each moment. For example, Dogen's teaching in Genjo Koan about the firewood. Firewood is completely 100% stay in the Dharma position of firewood. Before and after it's cut off. So this moment is a perfect moment. This is not a continuation from the past, and this is not a stage to the future. But this present moment is only real actual moment. Past has already gone, so it's not here. And future has not yet come, so it's not here. Only this present moment is actual moment. And so next moment, we can be different. That is, this idea of life and death in each moment came from Buddhist teaching of impermanence. Any more questions or comments? Okay, thank you.